Hey guys, welcome back to LS Vintage Design. I'm Lisa. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Today we are doing what you do not know antique vintage antique. It's the new series I'm doing every Monday, and yes, I'm already off schedule, but there's a lot going on. Unfortunately, my dad is in hospice. But today's a good one. We've done our first episode was all about vintage fashion. This one is about vintage furniture, specifically Lane furniture. Now, if you know anything about mid-century mod furniture, you've heard the name Lane. This is an awesome company. They were bought out, but technically they're still around because they were bought out. But let's get into a little bit of history, and then I'm going to show you some Lane pieces that I own and how you can identify when exactly a piece was manufactured. So the Lane Furniture Company was actually started in 1912 by the father, John Lane. A little bit after 1912, John Lane wanted his son, Ed Lane, to get into the business, but Ed had no manufacturing experience whatsoever, like most 21-year-olds, right? But Dad was like, no, I want you to do this. You know, he's trying to set his son up for success. So he's like, hey, I'm going to buy this small company. I'm going to set up this small company, Standard Red Cedar Chest Company, and you're going to run it. Even though John was the president, you know, the big honcho guy, Ed ran the day-to-day operations. And they started a cedar chest company. Now, back then, cedar chests were really big because of hope chests. This is where girls would get these chests and they would store their linens, their household items for when they were married. Super cute. And they still do it to this day. Hope chests are still a thing. Well, this company, the Standard, John Lane, the father that started Lane Furniture, didn't want it to be Lane Furniture because if it failed, he didn't want it on his name. So they incorporated as Standard Red Cedar Chest Company. And this company, the chest company, was run on a shoestring budget. Very, very tight budget. Not only that, but they had manufacturing problems, they had production problems, they had salesman problems, they had just all sorts of problems, okay? And the manufacturing processes used to create these chests was very elementary. It was just the basic stuff to make these chests. So it was very hard to get the chest out to the public, to meet demand, to sell them, because Ed Lane didn't have a dedicated sales force at the time. The biggest thing he did was he set up a shop window, and shop windows were like in department stores and that kind of thing, right? And he set up a window and he put cedar logs, cedar planks, cedar shavings, and then a chest. And that took off. It was a stroke of brilliant marketing. So they proved that this cedar chest company was very successful. So in 1951, they added to this company, and in 1951, they started making occasional tables. Now, occasional tables in 1951 were any tables that you might have an occasion to use. That's it. Think end tables now, coffee tables, that sort of thing. In 1956, they added case goods. Now, what are case goods? Things in cases like bookshelves, bureaus or dressers. It's in a case. It has drawers. Okay, bookshelves. It's in a case. So in 1956, they added dressers, bureaus, and that kind of thing to their inventory. Then in 1965, they added accent goods, accent furniture. Now, what is accent furniture? Think pieces that really command respect in the room, something that stands out that doesn't fit in with the normal decor. And a good example for Lane Furniture was their drum table. This was a big, round table, and it just called attention to itself because their other tables were rectangular and square. So in 1972, John Lane acquired a very profitable small armchair manufacturing company. And this is the time that Lane moved his company just from hardwood furniture into upholstered furniture like chairs. Now, after John Lane acquired Action Chair Company, Eventually, it was changed to Lane. It was brought into the Lane family, and it was Lane Furniture. Lane Furniture is still around today, but not under Lane. It is under United Furniture. And it's still around because the quality product was so amazing. Now, let's say you have a piece of Lane furniture and you want to know when was it manufactured, or you have a Lane chest and you want to know when it was manufactured. On the chest, the serial number is stamped on the bottom of the chest, and the serial number is actually the date it was manufactured backwards. So if the serial number is 753150, the date it was manufactured, just flip it around. It's 05/13/57. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you in and show you some of my Lane tables, and we'll look underneath and see if we can find our serial number. So we're going to switch cameras, and we're going to go to the phone just because it's easier to film with my phone, and I'm going to be laying on the ground so we can look underneath. These are some Lane tables, and the design you see on them is the dovetail. There's the square, and then, of course, the long coffee table, which I'll try to get a better image of. There it is. And then the two end tables. And these are just one set. I actually have another set as well. But these are gorgeous. Now, it says, okay, so as you can see, here's the serial number, the design number, and the style number. And then there's the Lane number, okay? So let's back out a little bit so you can see the serial number better. I'm going to turn you sideways there. Okay, and the serial number, if you read it backwards, is 01, so it's January 19th, 1963. Whoops, 1963. That's when this table was manufactured. Pretty cool. Now, we're going to flip over. Okay, next we're going to flip over to this little... And these were the occasional tables that they started manufacturing in 1951. I don't have the barrel table. I do have a sofa table, though. Okay. So there again, we have the serial number. And it is, let's see, we'll get in here and see. It's 10/31/59. So this was manufactured on October 31st, 1959. And then there's the Lane stamp. And you can see from 59 to the other one was 63, the Lane logo stamp changed. The other one's gold, and this one is more like burned in. It's burned in like a, what do you call it? Brain. So guys, that was just a little bit of interesting facts about Lane Furniture, which is still around to this day. Very high quality furniture. I love my mid-century mod pieces. And the ones you just saw, the ones that were redone, my husband redid years ago. So anyway, guys, I just thought I would share a little bit about Lane Furniture and come back next week for another episode of What You Do Not Know, Vintage/Antique. If you liked the video, please be sure and give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that little bell, because we have an easy, super fun, everybody's going to love it, cooking episode Vintage 5 on Friday. We are doing a no-bake pie. Bye.